Under current laws right now in Canada, since obviously the Trudeau government isn't passing any new laws to tackle this, what are the consequences for some of these, for Canadian politicians, the consequences for Trudeau if it comes out, definitively that they've been influenced by the Chinese Communist Party?
The only consequences at this point would be for the voters to, speak at the polls and say that either they don't trust certain candidates or they don't trust certain governments. Literally, and I can't stress this point enough, there are no legal consequences. Some people, whistleblowers were even saying, look, foreign interference is legal in Canada. It's legal to run police stations because without that foreign agent registration law, which seems pretty facile but actually is, a very useful transparency item, as it is now in Canada, it's very difficult for federal police to make the link between these proxies or intermediaries in the community, who I'm saying often can be thugs, and the actual Chinese state. But look, there are no consequences in Canada now. If we had a case being brought forward, I could say there are consequences, but there are none.
So even if Trudeau gets voted out and a new government does create laws, basically Trudeau and people like him are just not going to face consequences.
That's what it looked like. Australia was facing, as my first story for the Bureau said, exactly the same manner of threat. They acted 4 or 5 years ago. They've erected their defenses, and their intelligence agencies are in there. I heard the ACO boss say it's like hand-to-hand combat. Foreign spies are whining that we're too tough. In Canada, nothing's happening. So will there be consequences for people that are judged or suspected to have been willfully blind? It's not in the cards from what I see now. You need to get some laws in there first, and then just look at what's happening now and what could happen in the future. Just the mind boggles at what's happened in the past 20 years and whether bad actors will be held to account, because the problem is just metasizing and expounding. So I can't see there being consequences for people that have done wrong.
I mean, it's amazing. Like you were talking about lawfare, that Canadian laws currently are more effective at going against people like you than people involved in actual corruption.
As ridiculous as it sounds, that I believe that's what it feels like to me, and I believe that's what the evidence is showing. That it's an astounding situation. It's more astounding. I can tell you, as you do, I go into the community and talk to people, and I can't stress enough the level of fear in Chinese Canadian, Hong Kong Canadian, Uyghur communities, where people say, I'm afraid for my relatives back in mainland China or Hong Kong. Can I write something down on a piece of paper so I don't have to say those words out loud? People talk about it's the Voldemort situation. They cannot. They're afraid that someone's going to be picking up what they're saying, and something bad will happen. And I think their fears are substantiated.
You had something, Matt?
Oh, no, I'm just terrified.
Oh.
Feeling your terror. I'm feeling it as well.
Yeah, we've been doing this show a little over 10 years. It's been 10 years of terror. Oh, I like the alliteration.
10 years of terror. I can see a placard for your next episode.
Well, in many ways, it sounds like the solution really does not rest with any individual government. It really has to be the entire world, probably led by powerful Western countries like the United States, Canada, the Five Eyes nations, to really work together to understand the threat of the Chinese Communist Party, because it is an international mafia at this point.
Yeah, unity among the Western powers and extending, I believe, the Five Eyes, intelligence sharing and, getting together on what laws are needed to nations like Germany, Taiwan, Japan, Spain, France. It's just the threat that we're facing and the way that is growing, the danger in the world just demands that there needs to be more cooperation against among the nations that value democracy and freedom.
Well, thank you, Sam, for joining us in these years of terror. Where can people go to follow you? You have the website, the Bureau. Put a link below, but where else?
Well, yeah, I mean, if they still can Google me in Canada, because that's becoming in doubt, go to the bureau.news.
Wait, what is?
Well, there's a little development where our current government, in their wisdom, has passed an online news act where they want to tap into Google and Meta, Facebook, for posting links. But Google and Meta have said, sorry, we're not going to be, extorted, or your terms are just, they don't understand the business model. Google is going to shut off news searches for Canadian news. This came out yesterday. So
Whoa.
Yeah, it's interesting times in media in Canada and the world, but people can find me. A main point is Twitter. So go to @ScooperCooper. You can find the links to the Bureau.news on my Twitter handle. And so Substack is where the Bureau is posted right now. We're also working on a standalone website and a media property for the Bureau.news. So Twitter, Scooper Cooper, and the Bureau.news. All roads will lead to the work I'm building partnerships with other journalists. You can find us there.
Honestly, I'm a little terrified of what you're going to come up with next, because again, we had you on first to talk about Vancouver, and now it's all of Canada. So I'm afraid what you're going to find out next.
I'm going to Taiwan in the fall with sort of that government invitation program. So we'll see what we can find.
I'm sure you'll find stuff.